Okay, let us talk about the video that you just saw, the Fair Use Fairy Tale. To start off with, let's go ahead and recap the information in regards to copyright basics. And this, of course, goes back to our last session, part one, on copyright basics. Definition of copyright: permanently fixed work can be seen or heard. Only the copyright owner can use the work. Others need to ask for permission. And then what can be copyrighted: books, plays, films, movies, dance, and music. And then how long does this last? Lifetime plus 70 years, or for a company, 100 years. So this brings us to the concept of fair use. And so I've got a little screen here where we talk about the different components that are mentioned in the video, and begins with there are limits to, and then they talk about there's being actual limits to the idea or the concept of copyright. And then they talk about what the definitions of fair use are, what are the requirements. And so they talk about a small bit can be used, and there are four different ways in which the material can be used. So it can be used in the process of teaching, it can be used for news reporting, it can be used for parody, and it can be used for critical comments. So those are the ways that it can be used. And then for it to really qualify as fair use, there needs to be three conditions met. And the three conditions are that it's the nature of the use. Now, the nature of the use is it teaching? Is it news reporting? Is it parody? Is it critical comment? So those are it has to be one of those four things. And then the second part is how much is used. Now, the amount that's spoken about is not spoken about, is there is no amount set. So this flies in the face of people who try to create policies in terms of the 6-second rule, the 7-second rule, the 30-second rule, or whatever. All the law says is that it must be a very small percentage of the overall product. And then the third condition is the commercial effect, in that the use of the material in this fair use usage should not affect the the creator's ability to get a commercial result, get some money back for their efforts. Which is kind of interesting, because when you think about it's critical commentary, where somebody does a reporting on a film and they pan the film, well, this is going to have a commercial effect. But what it really refers to most importantly is not that sort of effect, but where somebody is using a piece of copyrighted material to the point where it cannot make money on its own. So then the last point of the video was fair use is not a right, it is a legal defensible position. So you cannot claim fair use until someone actually takes you to court and talks to you about fair use. So those are the conditions about fair use, and we can talk a little bit later in terms of what this actually means. Okay, so the most important thing in regards, because most people obviously in our classes are concerned about the teaching and the fair use and how that actually works. And again, fair use is one of these sorts of very narrow loopholes, and the test for fair use is actually if you are teaching a unit and you are using copyrighted material in the teaching of this unit. Can you teach this unit if you remove the copyrighted material? And if you can, then it is not fair use. In other words, if you are teaching about the civil rights, for example, and you are using To Kill a Mockingbird as an example of a civil rights film, then you can use a small bit of the film in the teaching process if it's required to teach this unit. But if you can take it away and still teach the unit, then you cannot use the copyrighted material without permission in the teaching thing. So what that really says is that if you create a video and you have background music that you think is cool but is not essential for teaching this particular lesson, then your usage does not fall under fair use. It's a very, very narrow sort of loophole. And so it is one of these sorts of things that I always, say is if you need to use copyrighted material, go to the copyright holder and get permission, and then you're free and clear, and you don't have to depend on fair use, because fair use is extremely narrow. So what I need for you to do now is we're going to go ahead and we have 3 additional videos that I need for you to go ahead and take a look at, and go ahead and watch those, and then you can rejoin us in a few moments after you've seen the videos.